Hoi, hello. Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch Daisy. It's been a while, so today I'm going to be talking about why a lot of foreigners struggle. The truth is a lot of foreigners struggle right here in Brazil. I almost said Dubai. In Brazil. Yeah, so I'm going to be saying one or two things here and there, and then I hope you learn from this message today. So now, yeah, upon arriving in Brazil, a lot of people find out that there are certain challenges. Of course, I've talked about a lot of benefits that comes with living in Brazil. I've made a lot of videos highlighting, things you can benefit, how Brazil is amazing and all of that stuff. But on the other hand, I also highlighted one way or the other in various videos, talking about the economical situation in Brazil, when it comes to survival. Okay, so I'm going to be stressing on that point also today, as to why, and that brings me to the topic why a lot of foreigners struggle in Brazil. Now, the first thing I would like to talk about is the fact that when people want to travel, especially from Africa, the first thing on their mind, the thing on their mind is, I just want to leave. I just want to leave Africa. I just want to leave Nigeria. I just want to travel. They do not think of the aftermath of what's going to take place, of things that are going to happen, of the challenges they're going to face ahead. They don't think about that, especially for those that are traveling to certain types of countries. When I mean certain types of country, we all know that when you go to America, there is the strong likelihood that you definitely get a job. Right? You might face challenges, yes, but you get a job. And if you go to places like Canada, UK, Germany, places like that, somehow you get a job. That doesn't mean you wouldn't face challenges, right? But then when you go to certain countries, quote and unquote, meaning the certain countries you go to, okay, why am I going to this country? Economically, they are a little bit like not strong enough to give you the kind of jobs you want instantly or at the moment that you're looking for them, or for a job. Those are the kind of setting those are the kind of countries I'm talking about, like certain types of countries where you go and you have to struggle a little bit to get a job. So the number one problem here is a lot of people traveling to certain countries do not think ahead. Okay, what if I go to this country? What am I going to find there? What's going to happen? Would I be able to get a job? Would I be able to financially support myself? How comfortable economically would this country be to me? They don't ask questions. What's always on their mind is, I want to travel. I want to leave Nigeria. I want to leave Africa. Okay. They don't think of what comes next. So it is very important. What I'm trying to say is, it is very important if you're going to any country, not just any or certain types of countries. If you're going to any country, even if it's America, Canada, and all those beautiful, maybe amazing countries where you can get a job easily, no matter the country you go to, whether it is a low economical situation kind of country or it is a high economical situation kind of country, ask yourself, what is going to happen after I get there? How easy is it going to be for me to get a job? Or what qualities or qualifications do I have to secure me what I'm looking for? Ask yourself questions before you move. And then when you ask yourself questions, okay, for example, you're going to certain types of countries, for example, Brazil, or for example, you're going to South Africa, or for example, you're going to Venezuela, for example, you're going to just countries that that jobs it's a little bit hard to come by. Ask yourself the question, okay, I'm going to this country that economically, I might find it hard to get a job. Okay, if I get there, what's going to happen to me? What am I going to do? How am I going to get a job? What strategy are you putting in place to help yourself when you get to that certain type of countries? Not just certain types of any country, because even when you get to America, Canada, if you don't plan well, if you don't prepare yourself ahead of time, you will struggle to get a job. You will struggle to do one or two things here and there. So planning is important. When you are coming to Brazil, if you decide to ever move to Brazil, another thing I would like to say before I go on with that, When they're traveling, when they think they want to travel, Brazil, Brazil, they hear Brazil everywhere. TikTok, blah, blah, blah. People talking about Brazil everywhere. They are not telling you, or you're not asking yourself, like, what's the economical situation there? Okay, if you come on scholarship, okay, one day scholarship is going to end. Then after that, what's next? You need to ask yourself questions. A lot of people don't even make research to know what kind of countries they're going to. They just want to travel. They just want to travel. That's the number one problem. And then after they think, oh, I just want to travel, they don't Google to search the economical situation of that country. And maybe in some cases, some of them know, but then thirdly, they don't now plan ahead, should in case. So now, first of all, what you need to do if you know you want to travel to Brazil or any country, the first thing you need to do is research about the country you're going to. Don't just think, I want to leave. Sapa is on the high horizon. Nigeria is this. Africa is that. Google about the country you're going to. If you're comfortable with going there, if you decide, even if the economical situation is somehow, but you see that there are other benefits in that country and you still want to go, like Brazil, there are so many other opportunities. The only problem is you might struggle to get a job, but then other opportunities are here. Great opportunities are here. So when you decide, maybe based on those other great opportunities, you decide to move to a country like Brazil, then the next thing you need to do is, okay, Google about the economical situation. Now you know about the economical situation, then tell yourself, how am I going to make it in that country? How am I going to survive? So planning is very important ahead of what you're going to find there. Not just countries like Brazil, any country. I mean any country, but particularly for countries that the economical situation is a little bit on the low. You need to do your research, you need to do your planning. So research and planning are very important when you're moving to countries like this or any country, but particularly care should be taken when traveling to such countries like this, because lack of preparation, lack of planning is what makes people try. I just want to travel. I just want to travel. Nigeria is this and Nigeria is that. Africa is crumbling and that one is falling down. And then they get here and then they struggle. And they get here because lack of planning. They don't plan. So as you're telling yourself you want to travel, tell yourself, okay, what kind of country am I going to? Is it the kind of country that I can make it fast or make it slow? Okay, then this is my plan. Begin to plan. Whether you can make it fast there or you can make it slow there, still put a plan in place for what's going to come after. Okay? Now, having said that, when you now get to Brazil, when you now get to Brazil, it's important to learn the language. When you learn the language, you successfully learn the language, or in some cases, you can be very lucky. While you're learning the language, you get a job. Even without the language, you don't know the language very well yet. You can be very, very lucky and get a job because you need the language to speak to people. That's why it's not as if they require language as a requirement for you to be able to work. No, you need the language to communicate with your customers, with your people in the company or people at work. You need the language. But now, you can be lucky. While learning the language, you get a job. Oh, wow. And it's so good. Why? Because you can learn the language faster even on the job. Because you will talk to people every day. Open your brains. Learn the language. Okay, so do not say because you're here, you're learning the language and you're not trying for a job. Try for a job while learning the language. Whether you know the language or not, try to apply for jobs. That is for people who come not as a student, okay? People who come as a student, when they are done with their studies, they definitely know they need to learn the language, and the next thing they need to find a job after school, right? So that is that for students. But for people that are going to come here without a study visa, probably you come on a tourist visa and all of that stuff, you end up seeking asylum or however you choose to do it, or you end up turning your tourist visa into a student visa. Just try to start applying for a job as soon as you get here. Do not wait until you finish learning the language before you apply for a job. On the job as well, you can learn the language very fast because of the everyday communication with people. Then as you're on the job, do not hesitate to continue to learn online. If you cannot go for classes, maybe Portuguese classes, continue to learn online. There are many resources online, okay? So there are lots of people here struggling because of lack of planning. They don't plan. They don't plan before arriving into any country, or even a country that is economically very low. They did not plan. And then when they get here, now the little resources you get, some people do not know how to manage money. Me as a person, I cannot claim that I'm super comfortable and all of that stuff, but I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling. Why? Because I know how to manage the little money that I have or the little money that I get. I don't let the things of the world, puncture my face so much that I want to live large and impress anybody. I don't impress people and I don't care to impress you. I live my life the way I want it. I live it as economically possible as I want. As long as I'm not struggling to eat or struggling to find a place to sleep, I'm so good. So it is very important that no matter the amount you get in your hands, whether you're husband and wife together or whether you're single, manage your money. Do not live in a place you cannot afford to impress anybody or to impress your own self. Manage every single dime so that you do not struggle and so that you do not beg people for money. Yes, you can get help here and there, but for how long do you want to continue asking people for help? And it is very difficult for people to help you financially anywhere in the world. You can get rice, beans here and there, but how long do you want to go everywhere asking for rice and beans? Or even if the socials help you with this and that, it's never going to be enough. You need to live well and live right. So any money you get, people do not know how to manage. That's another reason why they struggle. So number one is lack of planning. Number two is the fact that people do not know how to manage the little thing that they have. Okay, if it means you're going inside to rent an apartment that you can pay for 100, 500 every month, please do so that you don't have to look up to people, borrow every month to look for somebody to assist you to support your rent. If you pay 400 every month or 500 every month or 600 every month for a studio apartment, it's okay. As long as you're not taking it from somebody, you can afford it, Don't do more than yourself. That's another thing, okay? There are many people right here in Brazil, because of lack of planning, they arrive here and then they are not able to get a job immediately, and then they start selling things they're not supposed to sell. And at the end of the day, they land themselves in prison. Okay, they begin to sell illegal stuff or begin to engage themselves in money laundering. A lot of them are here, and then they land themselves in jail, bagging themselves criminal records. You don't want to do that, right? So it is better to plan ahead before traveling to any country. Secondly, when you get to that country, manage what you have. And thirdly, when you get to a country, if you have not gotten that big job yet, please manage a small job. Do not look, you want to be higher. Do anything you see as long as you're surviving and you're not begging from me. I don't know how to beg. I don't know how to ask somebody to help me for money. I would rather use that tiny thing I have to manage my life. As long as you cannot come out there to boast that you're feeding me, I'm fine to manage. Do you understand? So do that job you see. Pending the time you are able to get a good job. Do not select jobs. Do not be longer throat and start selecting jobs and say, if you don't get this, you will not get that. I know somebody here that does like this. They buga for nothing. Like empty people do that. Empty people that want to impress. I don't impress. I live where I like, as long as that's what my pocket can take. Okay? So manage your resources. Do your planning. Manage your resources. When you get to a new country, do the job you find, at least for a start, so that you begin to raise money, you begin to plan, you begin to save, and then you can, boom, blossom and then grow into something better. As time goes on in that country, you'll be able to get a better job, and you'll be able to build your life exactly the way you want it. I hope this advice helps you. Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching me today. I hope you have learned one or two things about why people struggle right here in Brazil and any other country they find themselves. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section till I come your way next time. Have an amazing day. Bye.